Alrighty then. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Morning, morning. What a trap. Yes, sir. Very nice. Actually, you know what? When do we stop calling it a trap? That's the question. When do we stop calling it a trap when you know it's there, right? When is the word trap going to, oh yeah, that's just the same thing over again, right? Eventually you got to catch on. So yeah, I wouldn't, I guess I could say, yeah, it's a trap, but when is it not a trap anymore? When you know it's there, right? It's like a trap that you can see. Yeah, so very interesting. Good morning, everyone. We got some stuff to talk about today. We got obviously FOMC yesterday. We talked a little bit about it before the meeting. Gave you my insight. Gave you my my feelings on it, and a lot of stuff sort of came to fruition there. 0.75 as expected. That was the market was pricing in. Market got what it was wanted to price in. Don't expect there to be any type of bullishness off that 0.75, right? That's sort of what I talked about. And you guys can see that, we're sort of slipping this morning. So I have a lot to sort of discuss as to why I think this is happening. Obviously there's obvious reasons, but we'll go through my thought process here, why I think this reaction has happened, what the Fed's doing, et cetera, et cetera. We'll go through all of that today. We'll also obviously go over the futures, individual stocks that have some really nice setups, some interesting things that I've sort of pointed out this morning. That 11.7 rejection, that was it. That was it, Chef. That was sick. You guys know that we were eyeing that 11.7 as that upside target for a potential rejection point, and that is exactly where we went to after FOMC, the little FOMC reactionary move to the upside. We went right to 11.7, rejected right off of it, and now we are back near 11.3. So very nice stuff. Technicals all sort of surprisingly, the technicals actually held up pretty good yesterday that we talked about in the pre-market. So that's good to see. So yeah, really nice stuff. I mean, I'm just happy this morning because everything's sort of making sense. I think I bought Carmine's course. No. Carmine's a good guy. I actually talked to Carmine, believe it or not. He's reached out to me. He's another Italian like me. So yeah, shout out to Carmine. But yeah, I mean, me and Carmine have similar type of how we sort of look at the futures with the demand, supply and demand. He's, I think, a little bit more focused on trading the supply and demand. I'm maybe a little bit more focused on some intraday opportunities. But we look at the same levels on, the futures and make our decisions based off a lot of the same things. So, yeah, shout out to Carmine. All right, let's continue. Let's get started. So obviously today, my Costco puts, I took a loss on Costco puts, but the Costco puts, I think I'm going to go ahead and play again today, because it looks really good today. So yeah, sometimes you got to cut your losses, man. That's what happens. Cut your loss, keep it small. I was green on the day yesterday, including the Costco loss, so that's all that matters. So futures, as always, we'll go ahead and look at economic earnings calendar, of course, as always. We'll go over my thoughts on the FOMC, Google, Amazon, Nvidia. All three of these charts have the same thing going on. So I'll show you guys all three of these charts. They have the exact same setup. All three. Snow, looking at this 124 rejection. I don't typically trade snow, but this rejection looks good. Apple lost 132.50. Very nice. That's definitely something to watch out for. Tesla 670 level is a big level this morning. AMD, very clear $90 rejection. Watching the cost hourly still. I still like the rejection. I think now is probably where it starts to work if the NASDAQ gets hit today even further. I was maybe just a little early to it, so that's okay. Taking my loss, moving on, getting into it again when it looks good again. Upstart, very clean $36 rejection. Keeping an eye on that as well. So looking at all these setups, some really nice setups this morning, guys. Depending on what the market does, of course, we'll get an idea of what we can expect today. and we'll prepare for the day. So, first of all, we have to remember that today we do have jobless claims. We have it at 8:30. I don't really expect jobless claims to take priority over what just happened on FOMC, so I'm not really expecting much of a move on jobless claims, but we will look at it at 8:30. So remember that. Okay, futures. So guys, here's if you guys are part of either the Options Insider Discord, that's where I trade live, or if you're part of Chart, which is just a free Discord for you guys to join, which I just sort of post my NQ analysis, my NQ and ES analysis here, which is right here, right? So yesterday, here was my sort of what I wrote up on the NQ yesterday. You guys remember that we talked about the 11.7 level to the upside, right? This is the chart that we were looking at. It was about a 3% or 6% range, I'm sorry. And then you guys can see right here that we were looking at the 6% range between 11,000 and 11.7. 11.7 is the May lows. This is what we were looking at yesterday in the pre-market. This is what I shared with the Chart Discord community. If you guys are here on the live stream, you are, the people that, most of the people that are in here, I believe. There's about 800 people in here now. So if you guys want to check that out, it is free. I just sort of post my NQ and ES analysis every morning. So yesterday, I posted that and we talked about it in the pre-market live stream. The push to 11.7 if there is a reactionary move to the upside. And that is sort of what we saw, right, guys? So looking at this chart now, here's the 4-hour chart on the NQ. You can see we got that reactionary push right to 11.7, and look at where it rejected. So is there anything bullish about this chart? No, there's nothing bullish about this chart, guys. You tried to push back. You got a pretty, I think, fake reactionary move on FOMC. There's always emotion. There's always reactionary moves. This is your reactionary move right into previous support. Look at how clear this is. It's really not very difficult to see, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know where the next rejection point is. So 11.7, support, 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 support. You pushed right into it. You rejected right off of it. Absolutely gorgeous. So I love to see that. Why do I like to see that? Because it gives me insight on what levels I need to be watching. It gives me that confirmation. It gives me that comfortability to know what levels that I need to be watching. So very nice. 11.7, that is your new level. If you are not above 11.7, you are not getting any type of strength. If you are below 11.7, you should not be bullish. There is no reason to buy calls under 11.7. Take it out of your trading. Give yourself one less reason to lose money. Just take one less variable out of your trading to chase calls. If you are below 11.7, there is no reason to chase calls. Even if you get upside, sure, maybe you missed out on a few points, right? But the real upside is if we actually get over 11.7. So what's the point of trading a low margin opportunity? Not there for me. I don't agree with it. That's my opinion. So if it were below 11.7, I would stay out of the calls. Today, you can see we are trying to hold the lows from this week right here. You guys can see the lows that are attempting to hold here at 11.3. So very, very defined channel for us today, right? I like that. I like to trade when I see a defined channel because I know where I have to trade. I know I'm not trading here, right? I know I'm not trading here. I know that I'm trading if we get a break and retest of 11.3. I know I'm trading if we get a rejection off 11.7. Or I know I'm trading if we get a break and retest of 11.7 to the upside. So I know my levels now, right? I know I have 11.7 that I need to see above. I need to see us break and hold above if I want to get bullish. And I have 11.3 to the downside if I want to get bearish, right? So right here, you can see breakdown of 11.3. I would love to see that today. Love to see the retest. Love to get some short entries. And finally see the level that I think we should be at, which is 11,000. You guys have heard me say I think the NASDAQ should move back to 11,000. And I am sticking to that. I'm sticking to that, right? Because I still believe that you need to see these levels get tested. From back in 2020, you guys have a previous high, a support, a support, a support. I think you need to see the NASDAQ back at 11, right? So I'm expecting that move down to 11,000. I don't know if it's today, but if the NASDAQ gives up this 11.3 today, 11.280 is sort of where it actually is, that exact level, around 11.280, then I am looking for that downside. So very nice. You guys can clearly see the rejection that came in. You can clearly see the support that's coming in. This would be gravy. This right here would be the gravy today. If we can see a break, a retest, and a downside move into 11,000, I would love to see that. That would be big money. So watching that, if we get some kind of fake push today, guys, I probably won't even trade it, to be honest. I mean, if we start moving, if we maybe push up to 11.5, 11.550, all the levels that we've rejected in the past, right? You have all these levels to watch out for, right? If we start trading into these levels, I really don't have interest in trading it. Sometimes I just don't trade. I don't want to trade the upside. There's, maybe I'm missing out on opportunity. Sure. You might say, your argument might be, well, why don't you just trade the upside? There might be opportunity. To me, I don't trust it at all. I don't trust my money in upside with this market. So, if I see upside, maybe I'll look for some previous day rejections, maybe sort of near this 11,450. This is yesterday's resistance points. You guys can see it right here, right? 11,450, rejection, 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 rejection. How many rejections, right, at 450? So maybe we look for that. The next one is 570, right? Rejection, 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 and then you got that little push through it on FOMC. So I'm not looking to buy calls into these levels. If anything, I will be waiting to see if there is rejections. I am not going to look to buy calls into these levels. If anything, I will look for the rejections at these levels. Really not interested in getting trapped to the upside. Have no interest in it. So until it's above 11.7, guys, I am definitely short biased here today. If we are below 11.3, I'm definitely even more short biased. ES. 4-hour chart. So what did the ES do? So we had a level here around 38.70, but we couldn't even get to that, right? We couldn't even reach the main May lows here. The only level that we even tried to get to was the wick low, or basically like a one-day low here of May on the ES, right around 38.30, 38.50, right in that area. You guys can see right here, you have these May lows. This is exactly where you rejected. You pushed into it, you rejected right off that level. Now, the ES is weaker. The ES is weaker than the NQ today. Why is that? Or how can you tell that, right? Look at the ES. The ES is below this week's lows. So the ES made new lows on the week where the NASDAQ is attempting to hold this week's lows. So if we go back to the ES, you guys can see that we are below this week's lows. So what am I looking for today? Ideally, I am looking for a push into this 37.50, 37.40 area, and I am looking for this to reject. This is ideally what I would like to see today. I would love to play this break right here. Microphone clapped. I would love to see this break, this retest, and I would love to play the rejection. So that's what I'm watching today. Break and retest of 37.40, 37.50. Watching for that. And then if we get more upside over that, then I'm just going to be looking to see where we move up towards this 38.30 area. Right? Let's see. Where are some levels from yesterday? There's not many. I mean, maybe, let's see here. Maybe around this, yeah, right around this 38, yeah, 3,800 obviously will be important. You guys can see support, resistance. You have resistance here. You have some resistance here. So I would keep an eye on the 38 too. 3,800 level as well, right here. So I would watch the 3,800 level for a midday rejection, but the main rejection is up here around 38.30. So 38.30, 38.20, or 3,800, 37.40, 37.50. These are this week's lows to watch out for a rejection. The levels below, I will zoom out for you so you can see that. Let's go 4 hour. 37.30. Yeah, 37.30 is huge. I agree, Sierra. You can see it right there. 37.30. That's going to be a really nice rejection point, hopefully today. If we get that rejection point, that could be very, very nice. Let me zoom out here for you so you can see what these levels I'm looking at here. Yeah, I mean, for me, we've talked about this before on stream. I don't like the ES levels to the downside. I really don't see anything that strong in my opinion until maybe 36 at this wick high. But guys, I mean, look at this chart on the ES. It really doesn't give me much confidence on a hold. The only really confident hold that I could see, like that's very clear to me just looking at technicals, is 3200. This is the only clear shelf sort of price action level that I would be confident saying to you guys that it could hold. I don't think, these are very important levels here. This is like it's really not that major of a level here. You can see, if we just look at this chart, sure, it held a few times. So maybe we watch that 3660 right here to the downside. And then sure, maybe you watch this peak high. And then maybe you watch this high here, 3600, 3550. So, I mean, it's really not that trustworthy, I don't believe, in this general zone. I mean, you guys can see it with me, right? It's not anything of legitimate structure, in my opinion. The only legitimate structure that I see here is down at the 3200. That's just my opinion. These don't look very strong to me, especially not in this market. I don't think a level like this is going to hold this market up. Yeah, the ES is a little bit sketchy here. I don't really like many of these levels to the downside. If I see this break and retest here, then I would definitely be looking for that downside play. So that is what I'm watching today on the ES. Okay. I guess we'll go over the Dow real quick. The Dow basically just rejected this week's highs. You can see it right here. Dow rejecting this week's high around 31,000. The Russell just rejecting the previous lows, just like everything else, guys, right? Look at the previous lows. Look at the rejection on the Russell. It all is the same. Everything's rejecting the previous lows. Is there anything bullish about a market that is rejecting previous lows? No. If the market was strong, it would have broke through these lows. If the market wanted to go up, it would have broke through these lows. There's nothing bullish about the fact that we rejected this aggressively off these previous May lows. So guys, here's my thoughts on FOMC, right? Let's go ahead and just do a little bit of a talk on FOMC. 0.75 was priced in. We knew that, right? We knew that was coming. I mean, at least the market was pricing in. Why did the market start to price it in? Because of the higher CPI reading on Friday of last week. So we got the higher CPI reading on Friday of last week. The market had to price that in. The /CQ dropped. Higher Fed funds rate was expected. Market dropped with it to price in that move. We got what the market was expecting, which was 0.75. There were some things that were said on the meeting yesterday which probably are concerning investors, concerning the market. And I think the biggest thing here, guys, is that in the last Fed meeting, there was a pretty harsh rejection of the fact that there was going to be a triple rate hike. Jerome Powell pretty much totally disregarded the question. He said that that's not even something they're thinking about. And now you see that they did a triple rate hike. So this, I think, is a little bit of a problem. Maybe with the trustworthiness of the Federal Reserve. I think that's going to spook the market a little bit. I think that's why I don't really see anything good going on here. And he also said that they are anticipating to do triple rate hikes into the future. So the flip-flop, because of the higher than expected inflation, shows that the Fed may not have this under control, and I think that's what the market is feeling. So that's my assumption right now, right? That's what I'm thinking as I wake up next day. Of course, I need to watch and learn and understand more, but next morning assumption is that the Federal Reserve is losing the trust of the market. The Federal Reserve, when Jim Levy, I think that's his name, Tim Levy, something like that. I think that's his name. The guy that covers Boeing all the time, I think, is the guy on CNBC. I remember his question. He asked Jerome Powell on the last FOMC meeting, will there be consideration of a triple rate hike? And he blew off the question like it wasn't even a possibility. So now that we're here, there's nothing quite bullish about the market having to put in a triple rate hike, right? I mean, that's a common term, the trustworthiness of the Fed. I mean, it's not that funny, but yeah, that's definitely a thing that goes on in the market, right? Does the market feel like the Federal Reserve has its back? Does the market feel like the Federal Reserve, is the sentiment there that the Federal Reserve is going to do the right thing? As that starts to slip away, it's not good for the market, right? Because it is not comfortable for investors to know that maybe the Federal Reserve does not have this. Steve Leisman, thank you. Steve Leisman. Steve Leisman asked that question, yeah. So guys, that's my opinion. Take it for what it is. You know, you don't have to believe in me. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to do anything with what I'm saying. But what I could tell you is that this is pretty damn resemblant of what we talked about yesterday. The triple rate hike, the rejection of 11.7, everything sort of did exactly as expected. So now I think you look for more downside, to be honest, until you see maybe a squeeze over 11.7, which I just do not see happening right now, until something improves. On top of all of this, there is news out of China this morning that President Xi is supporting Russia. I don't know if that's, I saw that article this morning, so that just can't, that on top of everything else, that can't be a very great thing. So let's continue. Those are my thoughts. That's the analysis I have for you. If you want to join the free Discord down below where I post the text format of this analysis, make sure to check that out. So if you missed the stream ever in the future, or if you just don't want to listen to my voice and you just want to see what I'm looking at, you can go ahead and check that out. The bolt behind me is Tesla Tequila. All right. Let's start with some individual names here. Google. So, what did Google do yesterday? We talked about the gap fill on Google, right? Yesterday in the pre-market stream, we talked about the Google gap fill. Well, it happened, which is nice. It did happen. So there was some upside opportunity there. Very nice little trade into the Google gap fill. You can see it right here. Right there. See that gap fill? So we got the gap fill, but look at what's happening off the gap fill. Gap fill rejection. You got the fill of the gap, and you rejected it harshly. So that is telling me that the market just needed to fill that gap. It just needed to fill that void, and it's going to want to continue to the downside. So you can see a push higher, gap fill, rejection off the gap fill, and the 2130 area is the level that I am eyeing here. So 2130 is a very big level here. You can see right here, previous resistance, previous support, turns into support. So guys, in my opinion, if you see a 2130 break, if you see some kind of retest and a rejection, I would be looking for Google to the downside, right? That's where I would be looking for Google to the downside if we lose 2130. I'm not taking puts thinking and hoping and guessing that we're going to break 2130. That is not how I trade. I trade once I see the confirmation, the retest, and then the market shows me that it wants to turn it into resistance. Then I get in, right? Then I get in. I don't get in puts today hoping and praying that we break through 2130. That's not trading, that's gambling. So look for the 2130 break, look for it to break down, look for it to retest, and then you know that you're turning a support into resistance. That is what I would be watching today on Google, or at least through the rest of the week. Amazon, exact same thing, right? Look at Amazon. Look at the gap. Little gap on Amazon here. Filled that gap. Came right back into it. Pretty aggressively too. Amazon had a very nice day yesterday. Very large outperformance. Big reaction to the downside, right? Right off the gap fill. Boom. Boom. Right? Boom and boom. So you guys can see right here. Push to the upside. 109, 110. Break down. Right off the gap fill. Down. And we're moving lower. Now, this is a huge level, right? 101 is a pretty monster level. We've talked about this one. So I am not that confident in playing downside. I'm not that confident on playing downside here on Amazon because of the rejections, or of the resistance here. This is a really big level on Amazon, so I don't know if I really want to mess with this level to the downside. So watch out for that 101, 100 area. So very nice rejection here. You can see it on the 5-minute. Moving higher. Rejection off the gap fill, moving lower, right? You're in this range. This 101, 100 area is the 2018, 2019, 2020 highs on Amazon. So watch out for that 100, 101 level. Just wanted to show you this because it has a similar gap fill. And then finally, NVIDIA, same exact thing. You guys can see here, NVIDIA had a gap. It didn't get exactly to the top of the gap. It got more to these wick lows. You can see right here. You see this low right here? That's where it started to reject. 168. You pushed higher, right? Pushed higher. Where did you reject? Right at the previous support. Previous support turns into resistance. And clean, man. Just so clean. Look how clean that looks. Previous support into resistance. Reject right off of it. You can't get much better than that. So very nice rejection there on NVIDIA. I love to see that. That gives me some idea that this level in the future is a level that we could potentially play off of. That's a level that will stay on my charts now, 169. Now, to the downside, you have the 155 4-hour demand. You guys know this is a big level here. Here's the 4-hour. You can see right here. Support, support, support. Right? 155. So, if you guys see this, I would watch to see if NVIDIA loses the 155 today. If NVIDIA loses the 155, gives you a little retest, then I would be looking for that downside. Not much support under 155. If I go to the weekly chart, you guys can see right here. NVIDIA really does not have much support under the 155. Look at the weekly. The next major level to me is this 120. So 155, if we start to lose it, if the market really does start to unravel, then you could see that 120. It's a pretty decent way lower. It's another 27%. So, another 27% on NVIDIA, that would be pretty astonishing. I don't know if you're going to see that in the short term, but 155 is definitely a level to watch out for. Right here, 155. So watch out for that. $1 stop loss? I'm not sure. Oh, you're talking about... Yeah, sometimes you got to give them a little room, right? But yeah, okay. So that's NVIDIA. You guys can see right here, 155. Keep an eye on that. Gap fill yesterday and a rejection. Same thing on NVIDIA, Google, and Amazon. 3 gap fills and rejections. Okay, let's move on. Snow. I don't typically trade snow, but when I see a setup like this, I get interested. Why am I interested in this? You guys can already tell me, right? I don't need to explain. Just looking at this chart, you should see what I'm talking about. You can see support, 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 resistance, resistance. Same thing over and over and over and over and over again. So, what am I looking for? Personally, I would like to see snow give up these wick highs because this looks like it could be a support level. So I am going to be a little cautious of that. You can see right here. 115 will be my level to watch on snow. So if we can start trading below these wick highs and start to lose this level, maybe turn this into resistance again, start to show some resistance again here, then I think you can get your continuation. But the reason I look at this, the reason I'm eyeing snow is for one reason, and that is that if you look at the hourly chart, this is a very clear rejection point. Here, 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 and again yesterday. So, watching this for downside, if snow is below 124, if we start to trade under 115, I will look to see if this can move lower. Very nice rejection point, very sort of just technical chart there. Apple. So it looks like, Apple's back above. So as I was typing this earlier, it was below, but Apple is fighting still for this 132.50 level, right guys? You can see right here, we gapped down pretty aggressively. Apple is still fighting on for this 132.50. So we're not quite there yet, right? We're not quite there to the 132.50 downside, but you can see that we are getting weaker and weaker, I think, here. Apple, I think this is continuing to be a very major level to watch for the overall market. As you guys know, Apple has a lot of weighting. Keep an eye on this 132.50. I'm not trading this because this does not look like a trading opportunity. It's just sideways. but I think this is something that should be monitored. When does Apple eventually lose the 132.50? Is it today? Is it next week? That's what I'll be watching. Jobless claims? Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and check that out. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, we're getting jobless claims coming out here. Let's see if there's any reaction off of it. Let's wait a second and see. Okay, here we go. May housing starts. Oh, we had housing data? I didn't see that. Oh, yeah, we have building permits and housing starts. Okay. So how, oh, wow. Ooh. Holy shit. Damn, guys. The housing market's getting a little bit interesting. I hope you guys have been saving your cash. I have been. I've been trying to save my cash as much as I can. I really want to buy another house when everything starts to slow down. Housing starts down 14%. The consensus was 2.6. So you are down very aggressively on the start of house building. Housing starts down 14%. Was expected to be down 2.6. So that's pretty aggressive. Building permits down 7%. So we are definitely seeing a slow in building because of a slow in demand. And yeah, so that definitely, you can definitely see that on the housing side of things. That is definitely a very clear reading there. We are still awaiting jobless claims here, unless you guys see it. I don't see it yet on my side, unless Walter Bloomberg hasn't updated yet. Here it is. Jobless claims down 3,000, basically in line. Continuous claims up 3,000 versus, yeah, I mean, it's basically flat. Maybe, no, I already have a house there, Bill. The house I live in is my house, but I would like another one. Yeah, so jobless claims basically flat. I mean, I don't think a 3,000 plus or minus is going to make the market move here, guys. So I would say this is a non-event here. 3,000 plus or minus is really nothing. When you compare it to 1.3 million, a 3,000 change is not really something that's going to get the needle moving. So yeah, jobless claims look to be a non-event in my opinion. The housing is very interesting. That is a very big downside miss here. It was supposed to be down 2.6. It's down 14%. Housing starts. Okay. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting next few months to few years for the housing market for sure. We're going to definitely witness, a secondary slowdown in housing. I just don't know at what extent it is, right? That's everyone's question. To what extent does the housing market slow down? Is it just a nice little chill, all right, my house is really not worth how much it is right now. I'll take the hit on it. We're all good. Or is it, a little bit aggressive? All right, I don't know. I mean, the house I'm in, I bought for $270,000. People are selling them right now for $550,000. That is an absolutely absurd amount of money for the house that I live in. $550,000. I bought this house 3 years ago for $270,000. So if it goes down by $100,000, if it goes down by $150,000, I really don't care. It sucks to see. I would have liked to see the equity hold into it, but I know it's not worth $550,000. All right, I know that's not the case. So let's continue. Tesla. Interesting level here on Tesla this morning. So if we look at the hourly chart, actually I think I'm going to break this down to the 30-minute and get a little bit more time for us. Okay, this is better. 30-minute. You guys can see, right? Let's delete these lines. Let's build them again here. So first things first. What's the most important? Most important is the fact that we pushed back into a previous support, and a previous rejection point, right? That's the most important part, right, guys? You've seen the common theme here this morning on the live stream. Everything pushed into previous support and it rejected. That's the common theme across the board. So yesterday we pushed right into support, right? You do not buy calls at supply. That's the unfortunate truth of what some newer traders may do. They might buy calls because the FOMC was up and they say, oh, we're going to rally, man, right? This thing is going to rally. But unfortunately, all these stocks moved right into supply. So right into supply, rejection, or support, rejection, and another very clear 706 rejection. So you guys can see we're moving lower. We had an uptrend here, a rough uptrend. I wouldn't say it's anything of importance, but it is sort of an uptrend here on Tesla. And you can see we're sort of testing it this morning. So the level that I'm watching is 670, guys. That is the level that I am focusing on today. $670 a share. If I go into the 15-minute chart, you are going to see why this level is important. Right here, 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 and here. So I don't know how many more red arrows I need to make there, but yeah, you guys can see, you can get the picture, right? 670 is a very important level here on Tesla. So if we're looking at Tesla on 670, then we need to see, is it going to hold? Are we going to see some upside here? Or are we going to see a little break, a little retest, a little this, little that, and then we get to play off a 670 rejection? I want to play this move. This is the move I want today. I want the break and retest. I want this, I want that, and I want to play puts as we start to reject 670. That's my ideal scenario today. So I'll be looking for that on Tesla, a little 670 break and retest to the downside. If we do get that, I think you can probably move down to the 660s right in this area. And then if you really start giving up, I mean, you could see the 645s. You can even see this week's lows, right? If you really do have a downside day. So definitely watching Tesla at 670. Maybe there's an upside move here. If we get upside on Tesla, I will be very, very cautious to trust it. I really don't think I would trust anything on Tesla until I see just a ridiculous move over 706, 710. You know, if I see this, maybe I'll go long. I'm not going to be going long here, guys. Here's how I think about it, guys. If Tesla goes up to 607 or 706 today, I have shares, right? I'm the sucker that holds all these shares. So I guess it's not really a sucker, but I am the guy that believes in the long term of the stock market. So if Tesla goes up and I don't trade it with options, I'm making money on the upside anyway. So that's how I think about it. So I probably will not trade the upside. If we do see the break and retest of 760 or 670, I'm sorry, then I would trade that. That's how I look at it. So that's Tesla. That's what I would watch. AMD. Here you go. Where did AMD reject? Where did AMD reject? Previous support. But boom, right into resistance, right at 90. You guys can see it right here. Previous support back in May. Pushed back into it. Rejection right off 90. So, what are we looking for today? If we move lower, right? If we move lower, I would look to see if this holds up. I'm sorry, if now that we moved lower, I would look to see if this area holds up around 86, 85. That would be my watch. If you start to break below this week's lows, I really would like to see AMD lose the psychological level of 85. I think I want to see that first before getting into anything here. If I zoom out to the 4-hour, you guys can see how important this whole zone is. So I would like to see AMD lose the psychological 85 here. Right here. That's going to be my watch. AMD, break and retest of 85 to the downside. Very big rejection off 90. You guys can see that. 30-minute chart. Let me get more time. Rejection or support. Very clean rejection. Beautiful. Okay. Costco. So I did get stopped out of my puts yesterday, guys. I took a $100 loser on this. It just sort of, it popped through it early morning. I just said, screw it. Let me take my loss here. It's small. I don't care about it. Sometimes I don't even want to look at stuff. So if I'm trying to trade and I have a small loser sitting there and I can just take it off and focus in on something else and focus on making it back elsewhere rather than hoping and praying that it comes back, I just take it off. So I took it off, I took my loss, and I moved on. Obviously, I had a green day yesterday, so I focused in, found a new opportunity to make my loss back. That was on Google puts. So took my loss on Costco here. However, I am still very interested in this play. You can still see the rejections that are coming in here at 460. It still is showing, it's still showing itself here. I still believe you have a setup here. You can see the rejection that came in again near 460, and you can see where we are trading now. I believe if you give up 450, I believe Costco will unravel a little bit. So watching 450 today, I think if you give up 450, I think that is when you start to see it move lower. So we'll be watching this again today. Maybe it bites me again, but I am still really liking this setup. And guys, I know, I've traded this setup for long enough. I've traded the break and retest countless times. I know there's a setup here, and I'm not going to just ignore the fact. I'm not going to just get discouraged because I took a loss. I still see it, and I still want to try to take this opportunity. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I move on. If I'm right, then I get to take advantage of this move. So watching the break and retest here at Costco on the hourly, on the 30-minute, I really like that 460 rejection. We'll see what happens. Last but not least, probably one of the cleanest rejections I have seen here on the charts, and it is Upstart. It really doesn't get much more pretty than this here, guys. This is a textbook break and retest. This is everything. This is basically Costco, honestly. But this is cleaner than anything else. I mean, it's like, if I had to tell someone what is a break and retest, I would pull up this chart. Previous support into resistance, bear flag, breaking down. Everything sort of clicks the boxes here. Now, of course, it's never 100% going to work. So there's always that variable of this pushing back higher and going through. Always possible. However, this is something that I would watch today. I would look to see if support turns into resistance. If it holds below 36, this is a very nice break and retest. The only dilemma I would say, the only thing I would say to you guys if you're looking to play this is that I just don't know how much more Upstart can drop. It's dropped so much, and maybe it's just starting to slow. Maybe it's starting, maybe it's starting to just say, okay, that's enough. I've had enough. Maybe there's not much margin to the downside. The only thing I could say is if you really do start to slip, the best I could say is maybe you test the 25 level. You can clearly see it here. You've had rejections in the past. You know the sellers are in control. You can see the support here. You can see the break. You see the retest. You see the rejection starting. I would, in the perfect scenario, I would like to trade this down to 25. So I'll be looking for this. Maybe this is a little cheap. Maybe month output I could take, give it a shot. Maybe if I can find something for $300-400, not too big, be able to sit on it and just have a stop above 36. That is a possibility. That's something I would consider. Just have a stop over 36, right? If it goes over 36, I'm out of the trade. And if it wants to just sort of slide for the coming weeks, coming months, then sure, I'll look to play it. So that is something I am considering today. I would keep an eye on that. All right, let's go over your tickers, and then we're out of here, guys. If you could take just 1 second out of your day, just 1 second, and press the like button. We got about 1,200 people here, and if you could press the like button, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and start with some of the stocks you guys want to look at. So number one is LULU. I like LULU. I am a bull. Jeez, guys, this thing's getting big. I'm gonna have to work on this because this is getting pretty large. I'm gonna have to do like a max per day or something. LULU. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, it's just sideways, man. I don't really like the sideways action. But what I would say is look for the rejection off this 280, 290. Look for that. It's starting to actually show itself right now. You can see previous support. Look for that to turn into resistance. You can see that 4-hour candle that sort of rejected there. So I would look for that. This almost looks like a break and retest, bear flag. So look for that downside on LULU off the 286, 287 level. FDX. I wouldn't trust the pump from a dividend increase much further, guys. That's what I'll say. That's my best That's my best advice. I would not trust this pump off of a quarterly dividend increase that much longer. I would say it's going to start to slow down. Here's what I would watch to the downside. If you start to give up these highs, then I would look for the downside to come in. 225. If you give up 225, then I would look for this downside to start coming in. X. U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel. I don't really think you should. I don't know. I don't really trade U.S. Steel, so probably not the best person to ask. On the technical side of things, it just looks like it's sitting at a multi-year low here. I would say this whole zone has the potential to hold up. Right? It's like this entire zone, anywhere between 22 and 18. I don't know if I would be a put buyer in this zone, personally. Right? You can see what it's done in the past. I don't know if I'd be a put buyer here. I think if you're looking for downside, it's probably over. If you're looking for upside, I would at least not want to see it below $18.45, $18, right? You want to see it at least hold 18, but that's tough. I mean, if you want to look for upside here, I think you checked upside in the box. I think you got to give it some time. I think you got to see it build some kind of, consecutive green days, something like this, right? Look for this to repeat. Look for something like that. It took about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days post pretty aggressive drop for X to recover, right? So you might need to wait a little bit here to see if this can consolidate and start to push. Silver. Not a big fan of charting out these commodities, honestly, guys. But I mean, silver's just been doing nothing for 2 years now. So I mean, maybe you can buy the lows, sell the highs. That would be my best, right? I mean, that's my best advice for you. Maybe you look for this area to hold as demand. It's been tested in the past and it bounced, so maybe you look for that again. But I think tough to chart out. We're looking at more commodities here. Let's go daily chart. Yeah, you could play the break and retest. I see that. I see what you wrote there. Look for the break and retest. 195.50. Previous resistance. Looks like the wicks are coming into support. So yeah, I'd watch that. OVV broke the retest. You're moving lower. We looked at this yesterday. You can see it didn't hold that retest level. So I think that's moving lower. CVX. Yes, CVX's energy sector's taking more of a hit, so you leave it. You leave it alone until it probably drops to 155. Right here. 155. That's what I'd watch. I wouldn't trade CVX until it hits 155. Walmart. You're just chilling in this demand zone. You got to wait to see what it does outside this demand zone. This is a big question mark right now on Walmart, right? How do you know what happens here? So wait to see if it breaks this demand zone and retests, or see if it starts to hold at that demand zone. Target, same thing. Major demand zone. You can see right here, it's in this gap fill area. Sort of in this previous low right here around this 143, and then the gap fills down to 140. So we can see 143, 140. We already looked at SPX and SPY. You can go ahead and look at it in the beginning of the stream, or you can go to the Discord, the free Discord down below, where I post my analysis on ES and NQ. Costco we already did. Neo had some upside the last 2 days. Looks like it rejected that. Did it reject that 100 SMA again? Yeah, it rejected like this 20 area and the 100 SMA. So yeah, just watch 20 and 100 SMA there. Baba's, just watch out for 111. That's the big level, 111 on Baba. It needs to get over that if you're looking for upside. We went over Google. We went over Google. We went over Snow. We went over Nvidia, AMD. Shop. Shop is holding on to this 300 level. This is a huge level. This is the C lows, the big C. This is the lows. 300 is the lows on Shop. So just keep an eye on that 300 level. If you get any type of upside, Your resistance is going to come in at 350. Watch that. Sorry, guys. I got to do this quick because there's so many. If you want to get more in-depth analysis, either join the Discord chat where I trade live or just, I'll try to do my best here. Data Dog. Data Dog is holding this double bottom still. We talked about this yesterday. Holding the double bottom still. So you got to just watch that. I think it's too early to play the upside. It's only one day. Market looks weak. So just watch out for that 82, 82.15, 82 level, and see if it rejects and moves lower. That's what I'd look for. MicroStrategy, can't do it. It's Bitcoin. Good luck. I don't know Bitcoin enough. Zoom. Zoom is a sell at any point, in my opinion. I don't see how Zoom comes back. Look at this chart, guys. It's just dead. Until Zoom breaks above 130, I wouldn't touch Zoom to the upside. So I would look to fade every move before it's over 130. Just watch out for the 106 level there. Looks like a previous support. See if it breaks below 106. CrowdStrike. What's CrowdStrike up to here? It's just in a chop fest, man. This is I can trade this. I mean, look. How do you know what's going to happen down here? There's no technicals to play off of. The only technicals I could see is the break and retest here of 152 maybe. You can see right here. 152, previous resistance into support. So maybe watch out for that. If you drop 152.50 on CrowdStrike, look for downside. We already went over the SPY. You're going to have to go back to the beginning of the video. This is pretty clean on PayPal. You can see the bear flag. You can see the rejection at this previous level around 85, 86, moving lower. I would look for PayPal to drop these lows. Let me zoom out, get you more time here so you can see this. I would look for PayPal to drop these lows right here. Right there. Previous support. Support. If I see PayPal drop the 71 area, I would trade it to the downside. I have no interest in PayPal to the upside until it's at least over these pivot highs. I have no interest in this upside. Not in this market. If this was a bullish market and we were pulling back and the market looked like, if the stock looked like this, right? If this is what PayPal looked like, right? And just bear with me here. I know this is ugly. But if this was PayPal stock and we've been uptrending for the last, last year, if 2020, if we've been uptrending this whole time, if this was PayPal stock and we pulled back like this, and this was a retest level and I could trade to the upside, sure, right? Absolutely. I would be totally with you on that. However, that is not the case for PayPal, right? I am not a buyer of pullbacks in a downtrend. That is just backwards, in my opinion. I am not a buyer of pullbacks in a downtrend. I would be a buyer of pullbacks in an uptrend, right? I'd be a buyer of pullbacks in an uptrend. I am not a buyer of pullbacks in a downtrend. I am a seller of upside in a downtrend. So if PayPal's in a downtrend for the last year and a half, 2 years, I don't even know how long is this. It's almost a year now. I am a seller of any pops. I'm not a buyer of a low. Okay, maybe it would be the case for our good old friend inverse PayPal. If it was inverse PayPal, I would buy these dips every time. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you. If you guys could just take 1 second out of your day before you head out and press the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. Press the like button. Come hang out in the Discord chat if you like. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Let's go over the NQ just real quick, and then we got to jump out of here. What's the NQ up to right now? NQ is giving you a little bit of a bounce off the 300, but nothing that makes me change my mind about today. So I will be watching, first levels I'd be watching on the NQ here, guys, 450, 570, 700. Those are the 3 levels I'd be watching to the upside. On the ES, I'd be watching just for this 3740 rejection. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at what we just saw as we were talking on this stream. Look at that beautiful little rejection right there. I sound like, who's the painter? Is it Bob Ross? Look at that little beautiful rejection right there. Sound like Bob Ross on the charts. So there you go, guys. 3730. Look at that rejection again that just came in. Very nice. So I would be watching for that. All right. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hope you have a fantastic day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.